We are live on Yonkers Voice, and today our guest is Jason Medina. Many of you know him because he was here with us, what, 3 years ago, Jason? Yes. About 3 years ago. He's a paranormal investigator. He's not doing much of that, but he is that. And he's also a well-established author here in Yonkers. Have written many books that have been published. Jason, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for sitting with us.
Thanks for having me.
Jason, tell us a little bit about you. For those guys, for those very few guys that don't know you yet. Tell us a little bit.
I retired NYPD. I was NYPD for 23 years. I retired in 2014. Joined the Yonkers Historical Society in 2013. Became a volunteer at Sherwood House Museum for a long time. And recently, in the past, I would say last year, I joined the board and I became a trustee, and now I'm actually the co-chairperson of the archive committee there. But I've also written a lot of books. Since 2012, I started my first book, and I've written 12 books so far. One of them is Ghosts and Legends of Yonkers, which is my most popular book, of course. It has Yonkers in it.
And that's the one that has the picture of the manor, correct?
Yep, Phyllis Manor Hall.
So guys, it's a great book. Go and get your copy. Where can they get that copy?
Well, it's available at Barnes & Nobles, it's available at CVS, Walgreens, BJ's, Costco. I know there's a bookstore in Tarrytown that has it also on Main Street. And we have it at the gift shop at Sherwood House, but Sherwood House is now closed for the season. Or you can just contact me through Facebook.
Where on Facebook? You have a particular page name?
I do have a page, Jason Medina. It's just a page, it's just that.
That's it. Go to the page, order your book, support our local artists, and if you want, you can just go on Amazon. It's on Amazon?
Yep, you could also get it online, yeah.
Yeah, and get the book now that you watch the interview. If you order the book now, and you're able to get that book today, you can run to 200 New Main Street and get that book signed. Now let's see if they can get that done.
Or you could come by Sherwood House when we are open, and I could definitely sign it for you. That would be in the spring, though.
And take a picture with Jason. Jason, a lot of people say, that's nonsense. Okay, I believe it, but some people don't. Tell us, how much of it do you really believe in it?
I used to hear a lot of people tell me the reason why they don't believe in ghosts is because they never seen ghosts. So then I would ask them, but you believe in God?
You never saw God.
Exactly.
And what do they say?
They don't know what to say at that point. And that's when the conversation pretty much ends.
Ends, right? Because they don't have a counter.
Yep. But I mean, I've seen a ghost. I've felt the ghosts. I've heard ghosts. I got recordings of ghosts. I got photos of ghosts. So I know they're real.
What do you mean, photos of ghosts?
Well, I've taken pictures at St. Joseph's Cemetery. I have pictures one picture from Oakland Cemetery, another picture from the Chalet Hotel up in Napanoch, New York. And actually, I think those are the only photos that I have that are pretty good documentation of ghosts.
But audio, you have a few.
Oh yeah, I have EVP recordings at Untermeyer Park. I have EVP recordings at Sherwood House Museum. I have EVP recordings from St. Joseph's Cemetery, Oakland Cemetery. I believe I have one from St. Mary's Cemetery too. I got it from my house also. I'm in Yonkers, but I'm not going to tell you where.
We're going to keep that as a secret because we don't want people knocking at Jason's door and Jason, can you do a reading? Can you do a reading? So we're going to keep that address out. Right, Jason?
Yes. I mean, I haven't really done any paranormal investigating in a while because most of my team all moved away. I have them all over the states now. They're all scattered. But we're still part of the team, and if they come back sometime to visit, then we want to go do something, we'll go find some place to go and do an investigation or whatever. But my main investigator that I used to go with most of the time was my ex-wife, and since we're not together anymore, like that was the one person I knew I could count on to always be there and come with me somewhere. So like we did the most investigations
together. There was an extension of you.
Yeah, she would always take care of EVP recordings while I took care of photos and videos, and I did EVP recordings too. But by myself, I really don't like doing it too much by myself. It's not really as fun to do it alone.
But you know that that's a lot of people in Yonkers that are very much interested.
I know, and there's a lot of people who have contacted me and asked me if they could join my team. I tell them I don't really have a team anymore.
So let's start a team then.
No, I just don't want to really spend too much time doing it. I've dedicated a lot of my free time to the Historical Society now because being a board member, it requires a little more work. I'm on the archive committee. Plus, I volunteer at the Will Library and deal with the book donations. And the only reason why I haven't really had to do that too much is because the elevator's out of service for now. But once that elevator's back, I'm going to be screwed because it's going to be 2 bins of donations every week to fill to the top that I got to deal with.
So guys, this interview is about paranormal and all that, but we need to make a connection between what Jason does or what Jason did and Yonkers, history of Yonkers. Yonkers, it's a large city full of history, beautiful museums, historians that you can talk to and they tell you things that you never thought existed. Right here in downtown Yonkers.
Yeah. Okay. I know a lot of those people too.
Yes, we have common friends.
Yes.
A lot of people. Tell us about the manor. There is a picture on your book. It's your bestseller, I believe, right?
Yes.
There is a picture.
With Phyllis Manor Hall?
Yes. How you say, the manifestation that you feel or exists there is positive? Because I know that.
Well, I don't actually feel things like that.
So
it's for me, it's more like what evidence I get, photos, recordings. I've never actually been one person to feel things. I had 3 people on my team who could feel stuff. One of them who's clairsentient, another one who's kind of psychic, kind of not. Another one who just has these sensations.
Don't forget where you're going. Let's say hello to Angelique. Angelique, we're watching you. Angelique it's a treasure box.
Yes.
She knows every corner of Yonkers. We talk about history, Angelique. Okay, you know it all. Thank you for making this connection happen. It's thanks to Angelique.
And also, Angelique was very instrumental for the research that I did for Ghosts and Legends of Yonkers. Too.
Oh.
Because the website that Angelique had about the Victorian houses, remember that website?
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it in a while, but it had a lot of interesting stuff about Untermeyer Park, Greystone, Duncragen, the house where the St. John's Riverside Hospital is at now.
Okay.
And the fact that right there on that bus stop in front of the hospital, a lot of people don't even realize it, but it says Duncragen right at the bus stop. And they don't even know why.
I have to go there and
it's
look.
because of the mansion that was there.
And Angelique, I was telling Jason the story when I was by you, well, at your place, and we visited the doctor's house. That everything was good. As soon as I clicked, saw live stream, dropped. We went again, dropped. Angelique was right next to me. Thank you for that too.
Hey, you didn't tell me about that place, Angelique.
Oh,
we need to talk.
Oh, it's an awesome place. Actually, when we got there, we had to wait for a little while because there was some paranormal investigation going on inside the house. Very, very nice. Well, but let's talk about how do the afterlife, I don't know what would be the right term, ghosts, presence, spirits, when they manifest in a place where you might be conducting an investigation, you or anybody else, do they choose to manifest? Or do we evoke them to manifest? How does that work?
Might be a combination of both. I know, like, whenever I was at the Shanley Hotel upstate, I would go there and we would speak to the spirits and we would get reactions or responses. We would get responses to questions that we're asking on the recording. I mean, we wouldn't usually hear it through our ears, but when we listen to the recordings later on, that's when you catch it, that's when you can hear it. And if you're listening to, if you're doing a recording while listening to headsets, sometimes you can hear something, because everything is enhanced around you when you do it like that. But I didn't like doing it like that too much because it's very distracting. Every little noise you hear, you think it's something, and then you take it off like, oh, it's just a car passing by.
Okay.
So it's not good to do it like that. It's better if one person's doing that and one person is actually listening so that they know the other sounds and they could say it. Like I would always say when we're doing recordings, is a car passing outside or a plane just passed over or hold on, wait because somebody's coughing. I would just always mention any noise that I hear in the background so that you know what you're listening to. But like also in Untermeyer Park, there was a time when I had asked specifically about a person who used to feed the fish that were there in the trenches there, the moats. And someone had responded to me when I asked the question, and she said the name of the person. And So these are all things that are happening as I'm asking for them. So I don't know if maybe there was someone there already waiting to talk to somebody, or maybe she only appeared and answered my question because I asked. So I don't really know, but it could be a mixture of both.
Yeah. Angelique just commented saying the house where we were, so write it down, is Dr. Best.
Dr. Best.
Dr. Best. And she says, Dr. Best did not want to be filmed that day. That's why my camera kept going, losing connection. You might be right.
See, I don't focus with video a lot. I like to take photos and I like to do a lot of recordings. So maybe Dr. Best wouldn't mind just talking into a recorder.
Correct. We don't know.
to a former cop.
Yeah, or maybe Dr. Best is not aware of this new live stream thing. They say, what is this guy with this thing here?
It might have been confusing.
But it was amazing. The experience was amazing. You could feel the presence, Jason. You could feel that there was something there. Okay? You couldn't say what it was, okay? But you could feel something. And when you go through the rooms, okay, the kids' room who died there, Doctor's Best office where he saw lots of patients who possibly passed away inside that house. It was an amazing experience. So guys, if you are around that area, Angelique, put down the name of that village so because I forget.
So that everybody could start going there.
Yeah, because that was one of the reasons why they asked me, okay, and I volunteered to film so people know about the place.
Okay.
And people can come and visit the place. Okay. And if they are around, go and pay and visit the place. That's what this is all about. Sharing, networking. So let me know.
Is it a museum?
It's a museum. It's a public museum. People
Okay.
go there, they pay, and they give you the tour.
I'll have to do that.
It's worth it. It's worth it. If I would go there today again, I would visit it again. It's unbelievable. Other locations in Yonkers.
I mean, I like museums, so.
Yeah. Other locations in Yonkers, Jason, that are known for paranormal activity.
St. Joseph Cemetery for sure. That's
That's
where I had my first experience. That's where I've seen my first ghost. That's where I felt my first ghost, and that's where I got my first EVP recording. All at St. Joseph Cemetery.
St. Joseph.
But don't go there at night. It's closed.
St. Joseph Cemetery is run by Nepperham, all the way down.
Right at the end of the Nepperham,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I went there once because somebody told me I couldn't feel anything.
Well, I know someone who's buried there also, and I even got him talking to me one time because the neighbors, he lived right next door to me, and the neighbors that moved in had knocked down his shed, which he used to spend a lot of time there, and the whole spot where the shed used to be was just left empty for a long time. And while I was there at the cemetery with one of my teammates, we were there, and we were trying to talk to someone else, one of her relatives that was buried in that same area. But what I didn't realize is that my neighbor was only 2 rows away, because I didn't know where he was at until my father told me. I just knew he was at that cemetery. And I went there with my father a week later. He showed me where, and I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly where I was at when we got that EVP recording. But what we heard is someone saying the shed, empty. Like the shed where he was at all the time, empty because there's nothing there anymore. and she thought it was her grandfather talking to her, and she was like, why would he say that? It didn't make any sense. And it made no sense to me either, but because I didn't know her grandfather, but it was very clear what was said. And only when I found out, my father told me, oh, Henry's buried there. I said, Henry's buried there? And then right away it clicked. He used to always sit in that shed in the yard. That was his favorite place to hang out in the summer. And the fact that they just knocked the shed down, the neighbors, like, maybe that's who was talking to me, not someone talking to her, but someone talking to me instead.
So he wasn't happy that the shed was down.
Yeah, he wasn't.
So guys, you see, even though they left this earth, even though they're no longer with us in this dimension, seems like sometimes they might be still connected.
And it was an intelligent response too. It wasn't just a random saying something like some random word that you don't know if he's talking to you or not. He was specifically talking about something that he knew I would know about. So he was talking to me, complaining about the neighbors.
At the moment that you heard that, you pay no much...
no, I didn't know it was him.
No
not until my father told me Henry's buried there. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Jason, once you connected, any goosebumps once you connected?
Well, and then the fact that I went there with my father, he showed me Henry's like right here. Like, wow, we were standing 2 rows away right there when we got that recording. So close that he could have said something and trying to talk to me because she's trying to get her grandfather in. Instead, I got Henry talking to me.
So Henry knew you.
Yeah.
So Henry connected to somebody who he knew. You just didn't connect with him at that particular
Right, I didn't realize it. I mean, we didn't even hear it until later because we just do the recordings and then we go home and then we listen to them. And that's one thing that I'm really bad at doing. Like, that's why I don't do investigations anymore, because I'm like 3 years behind of the recordings that I have to listen to. And there's no point doing an investigation if I'm not going to check the evidence. That's the most important part. Yeah. And I just haven't been doing it. I just don't have time.
So when you went there for the second time with your dad, and your dad said, this is where Henry is buried.
Yeah.
Did you took any recordings that day?
No, because my father doesn't really believe in ghosts.
Your father?
Even though I've given him proof time and time again.
What does he say?
He doesn't want to believe it.
This is all in your mind, Jason?
No, he just doesn't want to believe it. He's more like one of those like, that's just garbage. It's all nonsense. He's one of those people. He's very skeptical to the end, but he told me about experiences that he had in our house, though.
Experiences that he doesn't believe in.
No, exactly. So, and my mother has had experiences in the house too. We live, it's a 2-family house. They live downstairs, and my mother has felt things in the bedroom while she was alone, and she thought it was my father, and she realized when she opened her eyes, he wasn't even in the room. She felt like someone getting off the bed, and she opened her eyes and she looked and she was like, where the hell is he? And he was like outside in the yard doing yard work already.
You know, doctors normally they don't treat themselves, but you as a paranormal investigator, did you investigate your own home?
Oh, of course, a lot of times.
And what were the results, Jason?
Really didn't get anything most of the time. I've tried so many times, we never get anything, but there's so many times, like my ex had a little cat that died, a little black cat, and there would be times after that we'd be sitting in the living room watching TV, and from the corner of our eye, it would look like a little black thing moved right by the doorway, by the hallway. Like the cat is there with us, even though the cat died in Puerto Rico. But she did have another cat, actually, that was in New York. So maybe it was that cat, and maybe it was following her. And like, we're not together anymore, but constantly when I'm watching TV in the living room, I look over there to see if I see that little movement, and I haven't really noticed it too much. Maybe it followed her instead.
Followed her. So spirits, ghosts, energy is not something exclusive to us.
Right.
Okay. It also, animals, pets have it.
I mean, it's kind of weird to think that because you don't really hear a lot of experiences about hauntings of animals, like people's pet birds or cats, but you hear a lot of stories about ghost dogs or phantom dogs or the black dog of death that they've seen somewhere. So there are stories out there, they just don't really associate it with pets.
Guys, you are watching. I have lots of people watching on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm checking the Facebook page. If you have a question for Jason, if you want to share an experience, please do so. If you want to ask Jason a question, maybe an opinion, a suggestion, do so. I will ask, and if Jason has the answers, he will give his answer. What about history, stories of the paranormal who are not very pleasant? It happens, because if that is good, that is bad.
I know of someone who's had a lot of stuff like that, a lot of experience like that. Sean Austin, he's a friend of mine, and he also does paranormal investigations. He's been on a few TV shows, maybe some of you have heard of him. He does this very much actively, and he's had a lot of negative experiences. He's written a couple of books as well. But I have not had any negative experience. The only time I could say that it even felt negative was at my ex's mother's house. At her mother's house, we did an investigation there because she said that felt like some kind of presence there, and it bothered her. She didn't like that it was there. And we did an investigation there one night when her mother and her stepfather were away, and we had something that it felt kind of negative, and it said something, I can't remember what it was that it said, but it sounded negative, and that was the only time that we had any kind of experience where it felt like they didn't want us there. Because even like at the Shanley Hotel, when we would go there, every single time we went there, we had some kind of evidence, some kind of connection of something happening paranormal, and it always felt positive. It was never anything like, get out of here, we don't want you here. It was always someone talking to us, like there's a little girl named Rosie who died up there, and she drowned, and she fell off into this well, and she might have hit her head on this rock that was sticking out of the well, or she might have just drowned in there. But she was 3 years old, and this little girl died there, and she was the first spirit that I ever had recorded when I went there, the first day. And I could hear her running back and forth in the hallway and laughing, giggling, and I actually have a picture of this girl that I found through Ancestry.com because I connected with her great grandniece, and she had a picture of Rosie and her sister who used to live there when they were little girls. And I was able to get the picture and take it to the former owner of the hotel, and he finally had a photo, a face to put to that spirit of the house, which was actually the first spirit that we were able to get an actual photo of that haunts that place. So it was really cool to be able to do that. And we've had numerous experiences with her. But my ex also was in the room where she would sleep with her parents, and my ex was playing with this doll and trying to communicate with Rosie and asking her, what do you want this doll to be called? And this was like at 11 o'clock in the morning, and you hear on the recording, responding to her, you hear a voice saying, Mama, like really slow, but kind of childish-like.
Well, Jason, just before we close this segment here, where Angelique is engaging, I want to let you know the name of the place. The name of the town is Middleburg, New York, about 2, give it or take, and a half hours from here.
Wow.
The house is Dr. Best House Medical. The site is Facebook page, Dr. Best House Medical Museum. You know, check it out. Maybe, perhaps, one of these days, Yonkers Voice can get together. We get a bus, you know, full of people.
I'll go with you.
There you go. If we have enough people, we go there and pay a visit to this place. It's worth it. Great restaurants in the area, nice place. Angelique, you have homework. Find out if it's possible, if we can go. Jason, as you heard, said he's going to come with us. We just need to have time in advance to plan this. So I will wait to hear from you, Angelique. So what else? What else, Jason? What else do we need to know in regards to your experiences? Is this something that we should be afraid of? Is this something that everyone has it to contact, to reach out there? If we are chosen to be the person that the spirit gets in touch with, should we get scared of that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, sometimes people do have experiences where they are afraid because it's negative stuff, but I mean, I never have, so I don't feel that way. I've never, ever been afraid of ghosts. Since I was little, the house that I lived in the Bronx was supposed to be haunted by this little girl who died there, and I became fascinated with her, and I wanted to see her, but I never, ever did. And every time, like, the wind would blow the door closed, I would just tell my cousin, like, oh, that's just the girl who died here. And I was like hoping that sometime when I was alone that she would appear, and I would try to talk to her, and even then, and I would never get anything. So I always wanted to believe, and so when I finally did see something, I was extremely happy and excited about it. I was far from afraid about it. And since I haven't had any negative experiences, I haven't had any reason to be afraid. But one of my team members, one of my cousins, she had experiences at her house that it wasn't negative so much, but the fact that it followed her home from the cemetery, she didn't want to do it anymore. She was like, I'm done. And she stopped.
We have here a comment from Sin Debbie Pro. Sin is the mom of the, I believe Olivia was 14 or 15 when she passed away. Was a year or two ago. Give it or take, a few years back. Olivia died of accidental fentanyl overdose. Okay, and this is what Sin says. I don't believe in any gods or follow any religion, but spirit realm is very real. My 15-year-old daughter Olivia was killed for a long time. I struggled mentally with losing her. Since then, she showed me and let me know many times that she's still here, especially through dreams. In dreams, she has drilled it into my head that death is not final, and that she never truly died. Only her physical vessel has departed, but she showed me and drilled it into me that she is very much still alive and with me. Always. Our physical bodies are only used to the soul spirit can have a human experience. What lives inside the body can never die or be destroyed. This is not our first life we live. Many of us return back into this realm for a reason. Reincarnation, I think she's talking about.
I kind of think about reincarnation sometimes, and I wonder if it's real or not. I mean, I don't know, but it would be kind of cool if it was in a way. But I think if it is, then I probably can think of a few of my past lives based on things that are very obsessive for me, like Gettysburg. I'm very fascinated with Gettysburg. I mean, the Civil War is interesting to me, but not as much as Gettysburg. Since I was little, I always knew I had to go to Gettysburg. I had to see it. And when I finally went there,
did you connect?
I had to go back. I wanted to go again.
Did you connect?
I did. And I have, for some reason, I felt the need to buy a Union soldier artillery uniform, which I have. Why? I don't know. I don't do reenactments. But I've worn it at Phyllis Manor Hall for an event. I've worn it at St. John's Cemetery for another event that they had there for Civil War soldiers buried there. So it was nice to have it, and I like having it, and I still feel like I need to buy other things that I'm missing for it. But I now have like almost a full uniform, except for the boots. I won't wear those boots. They're so uncomfortable. But the fact that I'm so obsessed with that, and that I felt the need to do that, I feel like maybe in a past life I was there, and probably part of the artillery why I wanted to wear that uniform in particular, because there's no other reason why I bought that except for the fact that the stuff that I started buying just started to be artillery stuff, and I just stuck with it so that it's all uniform. And another place is Kings Park Psychiatric Center, which I've written several books on. That's another place that when I found out about it, I became obsessed with it. I spent a whole year researching that place before I ever even went there.
But don't go further.
Okay.
Don't go further. Don't forget where you're going, because I need to give shout out to my favorite Mexican restaurant. Dos Marias, 200 New Main Street in Yonkers, New York. Now, this restaurant is located here in Yonkers. So Yonkers is the home of the best Mexican, restaurant in Westchester County, New York State, perhaps the world. So come on down, have a taste of Mexico right here in Yonkers.
And there's nothing like Spanish food.
Nothing like Spanish food, nothing like Mexican food, nothing like Mexican drinks. If you can come over, if you don't feel like eating, you have a drink and make new friends. Come on down to Dos Marias restaurant in Yonkers, New York, right at the corner of New Main and Nepham. So come on down and have a taste of Mexico in Yonkers, New York. Go ahead.
So
make this,
Yeah, of course, you got to do the commercials. So, like I was saying, Kings Park Psychiatric Center, I read a lot of books about that. And when I first went there, I felt like I knew this place already inside out. I mean, I did spend a year researching it and looking at maps and everything, but I walked through these underground tunnels like I know exactly where I'm going. Never once did I ever get lost down there. And I know when I walked through, I could see all these empty spots, and in my mind, I could see the building that should be there. And I can visualize it like I'm seeing the ghost of the buildings, like I know the building should be there, that building should be there, that building should be there. And I can see it in my mind, the way everything should look. Like I've maybe seen it that way in a past life.
Deja vu, huh?
Yeah, and the other thing that I feel connected to, oddly enough, which I did mention in my first book, I briefly did a little part of that, the Vietnam War. For some reason, I could watch World War II movies, World War I movies, and stuff like that, all these war movies, but when it's a Vietnam movie, I am focused. That's what I really want to pay attention to. Like, that's the one that I'm more interested in than any, even though we lost.
Give me a second. Hello, producer? Yes? Oh, my producer is telling me to mention the best tacos in town. Right here as well at Dos Marias in Yonkers, New Main Street. No, you never had a taco like that. So come on down and try the taco. Jay, I gotta do it. I have to improvise.
Tacos are good.
Taco is good. Oh.
They're opening a Taco Bell next to my house.
No.
It's not open yet, though.
Nothing like Dos Marias taco.
Well, at least this is open.
Yeah. This is not just open. This is not just open. This is great. Okay? And
I'm gonna have to try.
And the place is available for all type of events. If you want to have a small wedding, a birthday, they have a second floor that is available for all type of activities.
And there's parking in the back.
There is parking in the back, there is parking across the street, there is parking all over. So parking is not an excuse not to show up at Dos Marias. Let's go on with our script. I personally have an experience. I think it's my past life. I remember, and I've been telling the very same story to my parents since I was maybe 2 or 3 years old. Me somewhere in the Middle East. I was one of those sellers, on a marketplace somewhere, and I'm going from one area to another, which I don't know which area that is, but I know me dressed in white, something around my neck, around my head, and I was going to a little mule, and there was other people following. I was following others, and others were following me on a mountain.
A little caravan.
Kind of. There was some kind of an avalanche, and rocks came from the top, rolling down. And I was one of those who were hit with one of the big boulders.
A very specific experience.
Very. And with that boulder came down, and that's how I passed on that life. Now, my dad always tell me, you're dreaming, Roo, you're dreaming. But guess what? I dreamed today, maybe in less than 20 hours, I forgot about my dream. This is a dream that I never forgot in about 60 years.
The fact that you had it when you were young, I think, means a lot, because if there is past lives, I would say the time that you're going to remember any of it is while you're still young. Mm-hmm. And it's still kind of fresh in your head. You might not know anything else about life, but you might remember things like that. Like I remember when my mother used to record me with a tape recorder when I was little. Remember tape recorders? Yeah, that's the past. Ancient technology.
To some.
Yeah. So she was recording me when I was 2 years old, asking me questions, and I told her that I remembered being in her stomach. I remembered it was dark, and I remember when I came out, I was thanking God for a beautiful mother like her. And she laughed about it, but I was like, maybe I actually did remember that at that time.
It's unbelievable. There is things that you just cannot explain. Jason, you told me that your paranormal investigations is something that you did in the past. You're not longer active on that field.
Yeah, I mean, I still like it, but
you like it, but you're not active, right?
I just haven't really had time.
Exactly. You now are more dedicated to writing.
Yeah.
That's where you're more into it. Are you planning on any documentary about your life, about things that you have done, your experience? Has anyone ever approached you?
No.
Not yet.
But one thing that I have been doing since I graduated from high school, I actually write kind of like a diary. But I never called it that. Mm-hmm. I called it my life book. Because it was my old notebook from high school. And I decided, like in 1989, the year after I graduated from high school, I decided I wanted to write everything that I could remember from my life. I was bored one day. It was like summer, right before college, or while I was in college, I mean. And I decided to just start writing in this old notebook, because I was looking at it, what should I do with this notebook? Should I throw it out? And I didn't want to, because there was so much stuff that I wrote on it while I was in high school, all these memories that I could look at it just by the notebook itself. And I took all the pages out and moved them out of the way, and I put in other pages, and I started writing. I wrote everything I could remember, my whole life up to that point, all my memories, dreams that I had, everything that I could remember. Mm-hmm. And I started continuing it from that day on. And to this day, I still do that. I write down, I'll go home. At the end of the day, I'll write down what I did, or maybe at the beginning of the day, I write down what I'm gonna do. A lot of times it's really boring, there's nothing going on. But sometimes it's kind of interesting, like when I'm talking about, oh yeah, I was exploring these abandoned tunnels of the psychiatric hospital on Long Island today. Like, oh, we almost ran into some cops, so we had to kind of hide because I didn't want to explain to them what I was doing.
The producer is talking to me again.
Uh-oh.
You know, the producer doesn't leave me alone. He keeps talking, keeps talking. This is what he says now. Producer, he says that bring a ghost spirit friend to Dos Marias to have a taco. We're going to change that. Don't bring no ghost spirit friend. Bring
A friendly one.
a friendly one. Bring one that lives next to you. Those, because the ghost is going to pay with ghost money. You know.
And we don't want them making a mess.
Yeah.
In case it's an angry ghost.
So bring real money, real friends to Dos Marias and have the best taco in town. Seriously, guys. Often we talk about supporting our local businesses.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We talk about supporting our local artists. And but I tell people all the time, that is fine, that you're saying that. But what it's really more important is that you put actions to your words and actually do support
Yes.
them. Okay? Because that's what counts. Me telling you that I'm going to buy you 10,000 copies, so what? Now me buying 10,000 copies is a whole different story,
Yeah.
correct? So actions, not word, guys. And please share your story. I'm monitoring this broadcast right here. I'm watching it with you guys. Ask your questions. Share a question or two that you have. Let's put it up to Jason to see what he thinks. So let's make this an organic conversation. This is the bridge that connects our guest with our audience. So participate. Anything else, Jason, that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I do agree about supporting the local businesses and everything in Yonkers. So, like, I'm very much into Yonkers. I moved to Yonkers in 2000. I love this city so much. I used to come here all the time during the 80s and 90s, but I knew when it was time to move from the Bronx, Yonkers is where I wanted to go because I was always in Yonkers. I shop in Yonkers. My ex-girlfriend lived in Yonkers, so I was always coming to Yonkers all the time. I would hang out with my cousins in Yonkers. I picked them all up from the Bronx, and we'd go to Yonkers to hang out.
Yeah, you know, some people criticize a little bit of Yonkers. Some people say Yonkers, look, Yonkers is a very large city.
Yeah.
There is no perfect city, but Yonkers to me is a pretty good city.
It's a beautiful city.
Could it be better? Yeah, any place could be better. There is always room for improvement. Could you be better? I'm sure you could. Could I be better? I'm sure I could. Could Jason be better?
That's impossible.
Impossible. Jason is as good as they come.
I'm as good as I'm gonna get. I'm trying to. Actually, I am getting better. I've been exercising more because I had a heart attack in September.
And how you feeling?
Good. Feeling good. Much better. I've been going cardiac rehab, so I've been doing exercise at this rehab place in White Plains twice a week, and exercising for an hour straight. And I feel like I'll finally be able to lose the weight around the belly that I've been trying to lose for the longest time. Yeah. I've been eating better. I've been feeling better, actually. So, and I'm glad that that didn't affect me in a way where I'm not the same me anymore. Like some people have a heart attack and now they're in a wheelchair, or half their body's paralyzed or they're dead.
Yeah.
So it could have been a lot worse. I got very lucky. It happened while I was at Sherwood. I was volunteering. I was carrying boxes and stuff. But I tend to overwork. But it wasn't just that. I mean, I was eating bad. I had a lot of sodium in my blood. I had a high cholesterol, high blood pressure. It was just a combination of all that. Plus I'm diabetic. So all that together, it was just too much, and it just hit.
You had a deadly combination.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't any pain or anything. It was just like a shortness of breath. But I'm lucky to be here. So I'm actually taking better care of myself and doing better and taking better care of my body. And I would like to be here a very long time. I used to always tell my parents, I'm going to live forever. And they would laugh, like, yeah, okay. And now, because of my books, I will live forever. My name is going to always be there.
That's it.
My books will always be around.
So, guys, let's take this opportunity to recommend and suggest that sometimes if you don't take care of this body, It might fail. So take care of what you eat, what you drink. Go for your yearly, physical, with your doctor. Take care of yourself.
And you can still eat here, but watch what you eat.
Exactly.
And don't eat too much. It's always moderation.
But you
That's
still can come to Dos Marias and have the best taco in town.
Don't eat 3 tacos.
What? No, you're not going to do what my producer said. You're going to bring real friends. Okay? Producer wants you to bring your ghost friends. You leave them home. You come by yourself with your real friends from Yonkers. Come and have a good time. And bring real money, not ghost money. Jason, thank you very much. Okay, I appreciate it. Jason, now tell us about I know that you're working in a couple of places here in Yonkers. Tell us about those places in case some people want to go there and visit. Come and chat with you.
I spend a lot of time at Sherwood House Museum, which is open in the spring and the falls on Sundays. I mean, as of last week, we had a candlelight tours and we are closed for the season, but we will open again on April 14th, and it's open 1 to 4 p.m. And it's a Yonkers location, and it's free. Not too many museums are free. This is one museum that is free. You can park on the premises. You park on the grass right in front because no one ever knows where to park. You drive in through the crosswalk, park on the grass. There's tours there. You go to the main house, which is built in 1740, is the second oldest house in Yonkers. And then you go to the gift shop, and that's where I'm at. And you can buy my Ghosts and Legends of Yonkers book, or you can buy the souvenir book that I made of Sherwood House. I made a Halloween book of Sherwood House also. There are other things in there. We're going to revamp the gift shop this winter, so it's going to be a lot nicer come spring. It's going to look different. We also have flea markets there twice a year. In May, we're going to have the first one, which will be May 18th on a Saturday, and also on Sunday on the 19th, hopefully, if it doesn't rain like this year. And then there'll be another one sometime in October, most likely. And then I also volunteer at the Willow Library, which is a pretty good library. You have books to donate. You can donate them there, just not until the elevator is back in service, because for now, while the elevator's out, we're not taking donations. But I also deal with the book donations there. And we have book sales there also. I'm with the friends of the library, for Willow Library. And we'll probably have a book sale in the spring, most likely, because the elevator will probably be fixed, most likely by January, I would say. And plus, I write books, of course. I've written 12 books already, and I'm working on my 13th book right now, which is my first science fiction story. So hopefully that'll be kind of fun to have some UFOs in there.
We have a page dedicated to UFOs.
Oh, I know.
So maybe we should have, when the time is right, an interview on that subject.
Sure.
Guys,
talk to Paul Greco again.
Oh yeah. Guys, Yonkers, it's a city full of good stuff, full of good people, full of kind people, and with many things that many residents in Yonkers don't know about it, okay? Like Dos Marias, okay? Like the Manor House, like the museum on Warburton Avenue. Look.
Like Sherwood House.
Yeah.
On Tuckahoe Road.
Sherwood House on Tuckahoe. I did not know about that one until maybe a month or two ago.
Yeah, you gotta come by. 340 Tuckahoe Road.
The one on Warburton Avenue, I've been in Yonkers for 40 years. I only learned about that place less than a year ago.
Wow.
Okay? So sometimes these organizations, they take it for granted that people know about those places.
Yeah.
But we don't.
Gotta advertise.
You have to advertise. You have to let people know. You need to drive people from Yonkers to your place. And how do they know? By advertising, by promoting. Whatever place you choose to promote, doesn't matter.
Social media.
Yeah, whatever. But let the people know of your existence so people can go and learn about the things that you have to share with the community.
When I lived in New York City for 29 years, there are a lot of people who lived there a long, long time, their whole lives, and they've never been to the Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty, or anything like that, the Museum of Natural History. Those are all places that I made sure I went to before I lived there, so I don't have to go back.
You have a question here for you.
Oh, good.
If a production company approached you to do one or more paranormal investigation, would you do it?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't want to do that. There's too many TV shows about the paranormal that to get ratings, they will fake it. And I will never, ever stoop to that level to fake it for a show. And I know if they just followed me around and saw what I was doing, I would say 1 out of every 50 investigations I might have something worthy of putting on TV. The other times, nothing.
No.
Nothing at all. Because like, when I first did the investigations that I did, that first weekend, I had a picture, an EVP, witnesses, and I had a sighting all in one day. The next time, the day before that, sorry, I also had just had a picture. The next week, I had another picture, and I think an EVP recording. Then for 2 months straight, nothing at all, until I went to the Shanley Hotel. Then I started getting more stuff, and then I got my feelings back for it again. My mojo came back, and I'm like, all right, let's get back to it. And we're finally getting stuff again. But for a while, there was nothing, and sometimes it's like that. It's not like they're going to come and perform for you and jump when you say jump. They're going to come when they feel like coming.
Exactly.
They might not even respond. You could ask 100 questions,
Well,
you get 0 answers.
Because they are seeing what's around them. Maybe if they see that you're there for the show, maybe there will be no connection.
They don't want to perform, being the circus monkey
Yeah,
for you.
exactly. Angelique, open invitation for you. You know that you are always welcome to come on Yonkers Voice.
Of course.
Angelique had been on Yonkers Voice like multiple times, like 2 or 3 times. Actually, it's not.
And you got to come back to Sherwood House. It's been a while.
Actually, it's not local unless it's Yonkers Voice.
Yes, I know.
Came from her. That came from her.
Oh.
She was the one who suggested that bullet line, that
Nice,
header.
nice.
So thank you for that. And Angelique, you are always welcome. Maybe we can talk offline and pick up on a subject that we can bring it up and talk to the people of Yonkers, because you are rich in history. You know everything there is to know about our city. I know that you love our city no more than I love my city, but you're almost there, okay? You're almost there. So, and you can bring a lot of stuff to the attention of the people of Yonkers, so they can learn a little bit more about the city that many been living here for generations.
Yeah.
Share the knowledge. Let them know what happened here, why it happened here. Everything there is to know, we want to know. We want to pick your brain. Jason, we have to conclude sooner or later.
Yeah.
But hold on, is there anything else? Do you want to do a closure? How can people follow? I know you already mentioned your page, but do you have another page? Anything?
Well, I have my Facebook page, Jason Medina, basically. I also have Instagram and TikTok, but that's the Raven 5407. That would be the username that I use for those two. I've been advertising on TikTok for my books lately also. I joined TikTok just in October just to see if I liked it or not. I really didn't want to join for a long time, but I've actually been having fun. I've been doing historic videos also. I did a couple of Phyllis Manor Hall. I did some Sherwood House Museum. I have a few others in mind that I want to do, like Untamaya Park, maybe a couple of other places around Yonkers, but I want to wait till the weather warms up because it's getting too cold to be walking around there, going around like this.
Yeah. Me too. I don't go out as much as I go on during the summertime.
Oh, and I have a website, of course, Jason Medina travelpublications.com. And that's www.jasonmedina travelpublications.com. Travel Publications is not an actual publishing company. It's something that I made up when I was a teenager. And every time I would do something, I would put tribe on the back, because my family is so big, it's like a tribe, and half the time they helped me with everything I was doing. So I would make CDs, I would put tribe on the back. I made home movies, I would put them on DVDs and put tribe on the back. And that was my thing. And at one time, before I started writing books, I was actually trying to make horror movies. And I had some really corny ones that I did make at some point. I can't even put them on YouTube because I'm using so much music that I don't have the copyright for, so they would just take it off.
Yeah.
And plus it's too long. Some of them are pretty funny to watch, but there was some that were kind of fun. And some of those I do want to turn into books eventually, because I don't want the story to be lost, because I've been making stories since I was 5 years old.
So guys, support Jason. Check his page. You can go on Google and do as I did, Jason Medina, and his bio and his page comes up. Click there, support him by buy one of those books. You can go there and look at all the books he has published and buy 1 or 2 or more of whatever books interests you. Ones that you say, oh, maybe I want to read these. Go. Just last question, Jason. producer is talking.
While he's talking, I have ghost books, I have zombie books, I have some historical reference books.
Yes, producer told me to ask you about the Buck Road.
Lookout Road.
We went there the other day to visit.
Yeah, I got nothing there.
You got nothing there?
Nothing.
But there's a lot of history about
Oh
that
yeah,
place.
they
But
made a
you-
movie about it.
You make a movie. But remember, just because you didn't got nothing there does not mean there is
Right.
nothing there.
Exactly.
Maybe they just chose not to
Exactly.
talk to you.
Sometimes you got to keep going. You got to keep trying. Sometimes you get something. And not all the time you're going to go there. The first day you're there, you're going to get something. Like when I went to the Shanley Hotel or St. Joseph's Cemetery or Entermeyer Park. Sometimes you have to keep going and keep trying if you really want to get that evidence, because it's not always going to be there waiting for you.
Yeah, Buchan Road is right here in Westchester County by by White Plains.
The White Plains, yeah.
By White Plains.
I don't remember exactly how to give someone directions to
Anyway,
it. I would just happen to be going through there that time.
just Google it. There is a movie on it.
Yeah.
Google it, do a little search. Where is this? You get your address and you drive. I drove. I felt nothing, but I drove by. So maybe you feel something.
Lee Avenue in Yonkers is another place that's
Lee Avenue?
very popular for haunting things. But the people that live around there, they don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
They're tired of people coming by already.
You say, well, but they should have moved, they bought the houses elsewhere, Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Jason, thank you for being here. Guys, love you. Just want to remind you that Yonkers Voice is just a brand name. Yonkers Voice is not a Yonkers exclusive news outlet. We create topics for conversation. We create topics about everything that happens in Yonkers, in the county, in the state, in the country, and in the world. We create topics for the people of Yonkers to engage in conversation and articulate their positions about those topics. Lots of people think that Yonkers Voice, I thought you were about Yonkers. No, we're not about Yonkers. Just like Life magazine is not about life. Washington Post is not about Washington. Those are just brand names. And you make the choice of following or not following. I appreciate all of my followers, and I hope you remain. But I want you to understand what Yonkers Voice is all about. Yonkers Voice, it's not exclusively about Yonkers. Yonkers Voice was just a name that I picked because I'm a resident of Yonkers, and Yonkers Voice started in Yonkers. But we talk about everything that goes around Yonkers, around the country, around the world. I hope you understand. I hope that you keep participating the way you've been participating all these years. We are who we are because of you. Yonkers Voice is not my voice. Yonkers Voice is the place where your voice is amplified and it's heard. Thank you, and until next time.